Abraham and his household resembled the well-to-do class of Canaan.
He resembled the Canaanites. Who were the Canaanites?
Genesis chapter 10 and 6. And the sons of Ham.
These are the sons of Ham. You had Noah and his 3 sons and their wives. They all survived the flood. The whole earth was repopulated by these people, which was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. So it was only 8 people that lived through the flood. Read.
And the sons of Ham.
So this is one of Noah's sons. Noah's son Ham.
Cush.
These are his sons. These are Ham's sons. He had Cush,
Mizraim. And Foot. And Canaan.
So it says that Abraham looked like Canaan. So he had an outward appearance that looked like Canaan. Canaan was a son of Ham. Let's find out about the sons of Ham. Give me that in the Zondervan.
Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor.
Progenitor means forefather of. Read.
Of the dark races.
So Ham became the forefather of the dark races. Read.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes.
But the Egyptians.
But who? The Egyptians.
The Ethiopians.
The
Libyans. And the Canaanites.
Which we just found out that Abraham looks like. That's all Africa. That's all around Africa. You got, read them again. Read the people.
The Egyptians,
that's Mizraim. Read.
The
Ethiopians are Cush.
The
Libyans are Foot.
And the Canaanites.
Canaanites are the South Africans. So that's all around Africa. He said Ham became the forefather of the Africans, not the Negroes. But Abraham still looked like them, because we just read that in the Jewish civilization book, that he had an outward appearance of the Canaanites, right? So they looked alike, is what that just told you. So now let's go to, so now that lets you know, one, the Africans are what color?
Black.
So Abraham is what?
Black.
Okay, so if Abraham is black, let's go to Genesis 20, verse 1 and 2, whichever one y'all get it first.
Genesis chapter 20, verse 1. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister.
So Abraham told Abimelech that Sarah was his sister. Read on. We going here for a reason. Read on.
And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah.
That's all I want. So Sarah was, and Sarah actually was Abraham's sister. Abraham was black. That makes Sarah what? Black. So she's black too, right? Okay. So now let's go to Abraham and Sarah had. They had what was their child? They had a child. You know?
Isaac.
My man. Isaac was the son of Abraham and Sarah, right? But Abraham had another son, right? Who was that?
Ishmael.
He had Ishmael, his firstborn son, which is the forefather of the Arabs. So he had Ishmael and he had Isaac. He had those 2 kids before Sarah died. He had other kids after Sarah died, but these were his 2 kids while Sarah was alive. So now, if black Abraham and black Sarah had a child, that child is black, which is Isaac. Okay, so now let's look at Ishmael. Ishmael was black too. Watch this. Get Genesis 16 and 1.
Where?
Genesis chapter 16 and verse 1.
Genesis 16 and 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife,
Sarai is Sarah. Read.
bare him no children. And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
An Egyptian, which was again them Africans. So even if she was still a different nation, she was an African, but she was still black too. So Ishmael still had to be black as well. Everybody up to this point, is the point I'm getting to, it was black. There was no so-called white people. There was nobody else on this planet that was of a different color. Everybody was different shades of brown up to this point.
Genesis chapter 17, verse 19. And God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed.
Which is Isaac. Now we getting Isaac.
And thou shalt call his name Isaac. and I will establish my covenant with him
So the covenant was not with Ishmael, it was with Isaac. Read on.
for an everlasting covenant,
It's an everlasting covenant, meaning it's never ending. That covenant is going to stand. Read.
and with his seed after him.
And his seed after him. So not just with him, but his seed after him. Read.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begat, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So you got black Abraham and black Sarah just had a child with this black Isaac now. So now we're on to Isaac. Now let's see about Isaac and his relationship. And see, because just want to clear up throughout history, because that's why we talked about it earlier. We talked about all the movies that came out. We talked about the Exodus, Gods and Kings, and all these different movies that came out. And they always portraying the Israelites and Africans as so-called white people.
Right.
Why are they doing that? When history, the Bible, everything is pointing to them. It's not white people, them Africans. But that's why I'm just going through this, just so it's. I don't want to leave any of these stones unturned.
Amen.
So, where are we at? Let's go to Genesis 24. Now we're going to see about Isaac and his wife, because now we know that Isaac is black. But what about his wife? What if she was something different? Genesis 24, I'm going to go through verses 1 through 4.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 1. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things.
Okay.
And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites.
He said, don't give my son a Canaanite woman to be his wife. Read.
Among whom I dwell.
Even though I'm living around them, I don't want my son marrying them. Read.
But thou shalt go unto my country, and to my kindred, and to take a wife unto my son Isaac.
So he said, go get a wife of my kindred.
All right.
So, read on. Go to verse 15.
And it came to pass, therefore, and it came to pass before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her picture upon her shoulder.
So Rebekah was Abraham's brother's granddaughter. If Abraham was black, ain't his brother black too? Or he got a Chinese brother? No, his brother is black just like him and everybody. So now you got black Rebekah and black Isaac. Now let's see about them and their children. Now let's go to Genesis 25, because they had children as well.
Whose granddaughter was it?
That was Abraham's brother's granddaughter. When you read Genesis 24 and 15.
Genesis 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and two nations.
So this woman had 2 separate nations in her womb. Read.
And 2 manner of people.
2 manner of people, meaning they wouldn't be the same. They were different manners of people. Read.
2 manner of people shall be separated from thy
They're going to
bowels.
be separated from her bowels. These children were going to be separated. Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other.
And one of those people are going to be stronger than the other. Read.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
So the firstborn child is going to end up having to serve their secondborn child. Read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
That's why I said that that it was two nations. She has twins, but are they identical?
No.
They're not identical. They're fraternal twins because they're two manner of people. They're two different. They're not the same. Read on.
And the first came out red.
The first came out what?
Red.
Like this. The first came out red. This is not, people look at this and they say, oh, that's a white baby. I don't see, that's brainwashing. That is not white. You're not looking at white. This is white. This is not white. The first came out what?
And the first came out red, all over, like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
They called that child's name Esau. Read.
And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob.
So the next child is called Jacob. Read.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare
So
them.
he was 60 years old when they had the child. But the point is that you notice that they didn't describe Jacob. But they described Esau.
Right.
They had to describe Esau because they never seen this before. Jacob looked like everybody else. There was no point to describe him. Describe him for what? So now we know that they had Jacob and Esau, that the parents were both black. One of the children were not. But let's go to Genesis 28 because now we're going to get into Jacob's children. We're going to start getting to his family because that's where we come from. We descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had his name changed to Israel. That's where we descend from. So each step of the way, you're going to notice that these people are black people. That's why when you're looking and we started off with the video and they're saying that these are the black people. Because they've done this research. They've looked and they've seen that, look, these are all, it's always been historically black people. So let's go to Genesis 28 and 1 and 2.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Notice again, now Jacob is being told by his father, don't take one of those daughters of Canaan, which were Africans. He said, don't take one of them. Read.
Arise, go to Padan Haram, and to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father,
Back to the house of Bethuel where he went and got, where his wife came from. Read.
and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
So Laban was Rebekah's brother. Read.
And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and thou mayest be a multitude of people.
So you're going to become a multitude of people after that. Drop down to verse 29. I just want to get to the point.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 29. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban.
That's all I wanted, just so we can see that that was
That
her
was her
brother.
brother, okay.
So nobody goes, no, he said that was her, that, they just told you that was her brother. So I just wanted to get that point. Go to Genesis 29 and 16. Let's move forward.
Genesis 29 and 16. And Laban had two daughters.
So now we're dealing with Laban. Laban had two daughters. Read.
The name of the elder was Leah,
Leah was one of his daughters.
and the name of the younger was Rachel.
And then he had another daughter named Rachel. That was 16. Now drop down to verse 24. And then go into the major points.
And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah.
So Laban gave Jacob Leah for a wife. Read on.
Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid.
And Laban gave Zilpah to Leah as a handmaid. Go, that was on 24. Go to 29.
And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
And when you read up in verse 28, it tells you that Laban also gave him Rachel. So he gave him both of his daughters to marry. He said, you can marry both of my daughters, Rachel and Leah. So now you got Jacob, who has Leah and Rachel as wives. And Leah and Rachel also have handmaids, which is Zilpah and Bilhah, right? Just these four women. These four women are the mothers of the nation of Israel. Because Jacob had children with each one of these four women to come with the 12 tribes. So now, let's go to 29 and 35. I just want to get to, because most people, the so-called black Americans come from the tribe of Judah. So I want to come, and I'm going to focus on the tribe of Judah real quick.
Genesis 29 and 35. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah.
So Judah was her fourth born son of Leah. That was her fourth born son. She had Judah. And Judah is the lead tribe of Israel. Out of all the tribes of Israel, that's the lead tribe, which is the so-called American black people, the Negro, whatever you want to call us. We are the lead tribe of Israel. And we come from Judah. When you look at the royal lineage of the Bible, the royal lineage comes through Judah, which is David, which is Solomon, Rehoboam, all of his sons. It all comes from Judah. So let's go and jump to Song of Solomon 1 and 5 real quick. Because this is a song, this is the Song of Solomon. This is written by Solomon. It's not written by some woman. Read 1 and 1 first.
Wait. You said the what? The book of who?
Song of Solomon. It's right after Ecclesiastes. Now remember, we've been saying that all this time that all these people were black. Solomon come from the tribe of Judah. Let's see what he says about himself. First, let's get 1 and 1, then get verse 5.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon.
So Solomon wrote this. Just to be clear on that. Drop down to verse 5.
Verse
What
5.
does Solomon say?
I am black, but comely.
He said, I am what?
I am black, but comely.
He said, I'm black but comely, meaning I'm black and beautiful. That's what Solomon just said about himself. Solomon was from the tribe of Judah, right? David, his father, was from the tribe of Judah, right?
Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
A tumult is an angry gathering. So he says, your enemies, God, you have enemies. And he says, your enemies, God, are making a tumult. They're having an angry gathering. Let's see what this angry gathering is about. Read on.
And they that hate thee.
They that hate you, God. He's talking to God. He's saying, they that hate you, read.
Have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel. Not just regular counsel. They took crafty counsel, deceitful counsel.
Against thy people.
Against your people. They came together and they took counsel against your people, God. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Thy hidden ones. So we're going to find out why they're hidden. Read.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So in that crafty counsel, these nations came together and said, let's cut off God's people from being a nation. So they won't be a nation anymore. Read.
That the name of Israel.
So that name of Israel, of the true Israelites, read.
May be no more in remembrance.
So they won't know who they are.
Oh.
They won't have a clue who they are in this world. We're going to give them false identities. We're going to give them a change in identity. We went from, what were we? We were colored. We were niggers. We went from that to Afro-American. We're a hairstyle. We're a hairstyle American. So you're going to be a bald fade American next. You're going to be a weave American. How can you be an Afro-American? Then you went to African American. You're going to be, we was black. We've been all of these different things. Why? We the only nation on the planet who has a revolving nationality. Why is that? That is crafty counsel taken against God's people. Read on.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They have one consent. All of them are in agreement. Remember the one guy in the video, they said because of collusion. They've all agreed together. They said, look, we need to come together against these people. It's a reason why. But read on.
They are confederate against thee.
Confederate means ally. They are allied against us. Read.
The tabernacles of Edom.
I didn't even mean to get in this part. But when it says the tabernacles of Edom, Edom is the so-called white man.
Edomites.
That's Edomites. That's the so-called white man. Read.
And the Ishmaelites.
Ishmaelites are Arabs. Read.
Of Moab.
Moab is the Chinese.
And the Hagarenes.
Hagarenes are the Egyptians. Read.
Gabal.
Gabal are Africans. Read.
And Ammon.
Ammon is the Japanese.
And
Read.
Amalek.
Amalek is the so-called white man in Israel calling himself a Jew. Read.
The Philistines.
The Philistines are Africans.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Tyre are more Africans. Read.
Asher.
Ashur. Ashur are the Kurdistanians. Now, all of these are the people that he said have come together. These nations of people come together against God's people. That covers a lot of people. Because when you look at Chinese and Japanese, it's not just Chinese and Japanese. That covers Asians. That covers all of them. All of these nations have come together against God's people. Every last one of them. When you look at the United Nations, Do we have a representative for us in the United Nations? No, we do not. And where are they coming up with policies that affect our lives? In the United Nations. They're having crafty counsel. That's what it says. These nations are confederate. That's what it's talking about. It says they united together. What is that? That's United Nations. That is what's happening here. But so that's the point. So we have to understand. But there was a key word used in there. I want you to go back to, because us as a people, we have been beat down so bad that now we don't even understand who our enemies are. We look at the people that have put us in chains and beat us and raped us and robbed us and continue to do it, and we say, oh, we love everybody. My point was, read verse 2.
For lo, thine enemies.
Thine enemies. That's what I wanted out of that. Thine enemies. We have enemies. God has enemies.
Yeah.
That's right. God, this is in the Bible. God has enemies. And he said his enemies have made a tumult. They've come together. They've had crafty counsel against his people. There's a lot of stuff we don't know because they don't tell us. They don't tell us the depths of what they did to our people and how destroyed we are and how we got to this position. I was in the Christian church for years. And we played with this Bible. We did not understand this Bible. We had no clue what it was talking about. That's right. We didn't. Because if we did, we would have saw that everything that we were talking about was wrong. But we didn't have that understanding. But that understanding is starting to come out in these last days. The true understanding of what this Bible is really talking about.